Summer 2025 is not that far away, and let me ask you this. Are you ready to take your shirt off at the beach, or are you still hiding behind those oversized t-shirts? Because here's the harsh truth. If you're still getting around an extra 20, 30, or even 40 pounds of stubborn fat, wait until April is just simply not going to cut it. But what if I told you there's a proven way to drop that weight before summer and actually keep it off this time? Now stick with me because I'm going to break down the 5 things I do if I need to lose 20 to 40 pounds fast without starving myself endless cardio or wasting time on gimmicks. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rich Biker, and I help men over 30 transfer their bodies and lives by burning stubborn fat, building strength, and boosting confidence. Today, I'm going to share my personal blueprint for losing 20, 40 pounds before summer 2025. And now this is going to be some generic weight loss advice. It's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you step by step to shed fat, feel amazing, and get ready to dominate by the summer. So if you're tired of feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure where to start, this is going to be the video for you. Let's dive into it and make summer 2025 the best one yet. Step number 1, you might have guessed it, but you got to dial in your nutrition because you can't outwork a bad diet, period. If you're not feeling your body the right way, you're sabotaging your results before you even start. So let me show you eat for fat loss without starving yourself or give up those foods that you love. So the very first thing you need to do is know how many calories you need for your body. And you don't have to count calories for the rest of your life, but I do recommend doing it for a week or two to know how many calories you're having and how many calories are in what foods. So take your body weight in pounds, very simple here, body weight in pounds and times by roughly 10 to 11. So if you weigh 200 pounds, for example, times by 10, nice even number, 2,000 calories per day you should be having. If you walk a lot more, you can times by 11 because obviously the more you walk, the more calories you burn. So you would need more food to kind of compensate for that. So body weight in pounds times 10 or 11 is the very first step you need to do in order to calculate how many calories you need in a day to lose that stubborn fat. And the second thing that you're gonna need is your protein in a very simple formula. I love this, it's very easy to do. Take your body weight in pounds and times by 0.8 roughly. So if you weigh 200 pounds, times by 0.8, my math's not great, but I think it's about 160 grams per day you should be having. And if that seems like a lot, don't worry, just kind of build up to it. Because I know, especially for a lot of guys, we have a hard time eating maybe like 100 grams. So build up to that number if it seems like an obnoxious amount. But those are 2 things you need. And here's the cool part. You don't have to worry about your carbs or your fats. Dial on your calories, dial on your protein, and the remaining calories, once your protein is met, can either come from carbs or fats as long as you're not going over your calorie limit. Kind of cool, right? I think for a lot of us guys, it gets a little too overwhelming. We're trying to calculate carbs, calculate fats. Don't worry about that. Ton of research shows it doesn't even matter. Like I eat a shitload of carbs and I'm obviously not overweight. So it just really depends on what you prefer, carbs or fats. As long as the calories and protein are dialed in, that's all that matters. Now, to do this without giving up some of those foods you love, there's 2 things you can do. Number 1, you can kind of follow an 80-20 rule. So 80% kind of foods that are like higher protein and quote unquote clean. I use that loosely, but maybe like your eggs, your chicken, your protein powder, your lean beef, your rice, kind of foods like that that are more whole foods. And the other 20% could be more of the foods that you enjoy. So maybe it could be like your pizza, or maybe if you're like myself, your whiskey, whatever it may be, the 20% kind of fall under that. Now, if you want like a proven step-by-step and more like an accurate way of doing it, I'll put my weekend warrior method in the comments below. You can grab it for free. It basically tells you exactly how to do it to set up like one high calorie day. And if you just kind of plug and play that formula, it's super simple. A ton of our members use it. They get great results from it. So I highly recommend to check it out if you haven't before. So that's step number 1. You got to dial in your nutrition, which is going to lead us to step number 2 right now. Shorter strength training for fat loss workouts. So you think endless cardio is the secret for fat loss? Think again. The real fat burning magic actually happens in the weight room. And I'm going to tell you why strength training can actually turn your body into a calorie burning machine 24/7. Now, to understand this, you got to understand metabolism. When we talk about metabolism, we're essentially talking about how many calories we burn in a given day. And obviously, the faster metabolism we have, the more calories we're going to burn in a given day and over the long period of time. Now, in your metabolism, 70% of that is something called your BMR. So 70% of how many calories we burn in a given day is something called our BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate. And guess what influences your BMR? A big factor. It's muscle. So if you're strength training and you're lifting weights where you're losing fat, you're actually increasing your BMR, and it just makes burning calories a lot easier to do, especially in the long haul. Guess what what the percentage of exercise burns in a given day? So we know 70% of it is through BMR. What is exercise? Take a guess. It's only 5 to 10%. So we're just focusing on burning calories. We're only focusing on 5 to 10% of the equation. This is where a lot of guys get it backwards. We focus on the 5 to 10%, but we need to focus on the 70%, which is our BMR. And I'll give you a bit of an analogy. Think of it this way. Let's say if you have a girlfriend or a partner, whatever it might be, Focus on the 5 to 10% is kind of like taking out maybe the trash bag. Like, okay, it's a nice thing to do, and I'm sure she's happy, and that's a cool little gesture you did. But it's like neglecting the main part in a relationship, which is like communication, honesty, and trust. So you do like you take out the trash bag, but you're not focusing on like communication, honesty, and trust. It's not probably gonna end well for your relationship, right? It's the same thing when it comes to like a fat loss thing. Like cardio, it's okay to add on, but you wanna make sure you focus on your main pillar, which is the BMR of 70%. And to do that, you wanna make sure strength training is gonna be an important factor for that. So 4 workouts a week, 45-minute strength training is gonna be the best bang for your buck that you can do to lose that stuff. Step 3, and here's a game changer, walking. And walking is one of the most underrated tools for fat loss. It's simple, effective, and can help you burn calories without actually stressing your joints. And let me explain why this low impact habit is a must for your fat loss journey. So there's 5 main levers we can pull when we're trying to lose fat. 5 main levers. We can eat less, we can move more, so kind of like walking I'm talking about. We can eat more protein, we can lift weights, or we can add bonus cardio. I think walking is the second or third most important thing you can do in a fat loss journey because it's just a simple and effective way to burn a few more calories without actually stressing your joints. So remember I kind of talked about exercise only makes up 5 to 10% of how many calories you burn in a given day. So it's still 5 to 10%. We don't want to neglect it, but what you want to do is focus on strength training, which kind of focuses on the 70%, which I talked about before, the BMR, increase your metabolism, but you still don't want to neglect the 5 to 10%. And this is why I like walking a lot better than like, steady state cardio or sprinting or whatever it may be. It's super low impact, it helps you burn calories, and it's just easy on the joints. So if you combine like this strength training 4 times a week and you combine your walking, now you're moving more, which is gonna increase your calorie output, how many calories you burn in a given day. You're focusing your BMR. Now you get a perfect storm. You dial in that with the nutrition. We're starting to kind of roll here. I got 2 more steps for you because you dial these next 2 steps in, and I promise you, you're gonna lose 20, 40 pounds so simple before summer 2025. One of the ultimate fat loss hack, it's not a workout, it's not a supplement, and it's not sexy, I promise you, but it's sleep. Neglecting your progress is gonna stall no matter how hard you train or eat clean. And I'm gonna talk about why getting quality sleep is the key to losing 20 to 40 pounds of that stubborn fat. Now, there was a study that showed men who slept 8 hours compared to 5 hours. The men who slept 8 hours actually lost a lot more weight compared to the men who only slept that, 5 to 6 hour range. And you might be thinking, why? Why does that matter? Well, here's the thing about what sleep does to your body and your hunger cravings. Number one, poor sleep's gonna make you feel a lot more hungry and it's gonna feel more irritated. So just think, right? Like when you sleep bad, like you kind of wake up, you're kind of like in that mode, like I don't really give a fuck kind of mode, right? Like you just kind of eat whatever, you do whatever, you don't feel like do anything, you don't feel like working out. But if your sleep is actually bad, your hunger cravings actually go up. And something called our ghrelin, which is our hunger hormone, is going to skyrocket. And on the contrary, our hunger hormone leptin, which is supposed to kind of keep us full, goes down. So we kind of go up with our hunger cravings and we just feel less full even after we eat and throughout the day. So it's a bit of a perfect storm there. And that is going to talk about, again, some of those factors like I mentioned, that if you don't sleep, you're just not going to feel like working out. Like, let's say you work 8 to 10 hours, like you're a busy guy, you come home, if you slept only 4 or 5 hours a night and you're trying to work out, you're probably not going to eat, or you're probably not going to work out. You're just going to feel like it because you have no energy. And on top of that, you're probably going to make poor food choices as well. So don't neglect sleep. This is not sexy to talk about, but believe me, if you don't dial in your sleep, it's going to make losing fat a lot harder to do. Dial this in. I guarantee and I promise you, it'll be one of those keys to losing those 20 to 40 pounds before summer 2025. All right, ready for your last step? Step number 5 is going to be accountability. Because the truth is, you can't do this alone, and you shouldn't have to do this alone. Now, accountability is a secret weapon that most people ignore, but it's the difference between crushing your goals and quitting. Now, here's how to set up yourself for success with the right support system. And there's 2 ways you can actually do this. Step number 1, you can actually do this journey on with a friend or a partner, whatever it may be. So let's say you do it with like your partner or wife. It just makes it so much easier to do because if you're going the same journey and she's aligned with that, it makes like cooking easier. You guys are eating the right choices. You're working out together. It's more motivating, and you have that accountability to make sure you're not kind of slacking off, because it's if you don't feel like working out one day, but she is, or vice versa, you guys have each other to support yourself. And another thing too that no one really talks about is if you try to do it by yourself, but let's say she's not like aligned with it, then it usually doesn't end too well in terms of you continuing, because let's be honest, humans don't like it when other people are trying to better themselves and they're in that same area. We all like that comfort, right? So like she might try to pull you back down into her comfort level, which can be very tough on you mentally, especially in the long run. Now, obviously, there's a way to approach it. Like, don't be saying like, hey, babe, you got to lose 20 pounds, like, do this with me. probably not the smartest idea. Like, you might get your ass kicked, but like maybe you can kind of find a way to do this with you, or even have her support you. That's gonna be a game changer. And the second you can do is I would just kind of get a coach, join a community, find a coaching program, whatever it may be, because I can obviously say from experience, like we have an online coaching program. I used to do one-on-one with just like me and a client online and got some good results, like some decent results for sure. But as soon as we kind of introduced like our community and the Fit Fusion Brotherhood kind of developed and more accountability with men going that same journey, we just saw way better results and everyone just loved it a lot more. And a lot of members actually said that like accountability was the main thing missing for them. So what I'm trying to say is like, don't neglect accountability, whether it's like doing it with a partner or a friend or join like a community of men going that same journey with you. You want to make sure you have some sort of accountability to crush the 20, 40 pounds, because if you don't, you're just leaving your results up to chance. All right, we've covered everything you need to lose those 20, 40 pounds before summer 2025. I hope you're excited. To kind of recap here, remember, you're gonna dial in nutrition, strength training for fat loss, you gotta walk more, you gotta sleep better, and then we just talked about accountability right now. But here's the deal. It doesn't matter how much you know if you don't take action. So start today and start small if you have to, but just start, because I think a lot of times we just kind of wait for that perfect time, but imperfect action is always going to win. And if you're serious about hitting your goals and you want support every step of the way, I've got your back. Check out our resource I'm going to link below. It basically takes you step by step in terms of the Weekend Warrior to make sure your calories are dialed, how to set up a plan that way you can enjoy your favorite foods. Let's say Saturday night, you want to go with your friends or your partner to a restaurant or have a few beers, watch a hockey or football game, whatever it may be. It tells you how to structure that you can still lose fat and not live like a robot, because that's not me. Like, I have my whiskey, I have my pizza every weekend. I'm not going to live like a robot. I'm going to enjoy myself, but still stay lean and healthy at the same time. Remember, summer 25 will be here before you know it. The question is, will you be ready to show off your hard work, or you will be wishing you started sooner? You got this. We'll see you in the next video.